when you finish your career, it's not how big your bank account is. You want success and you want to win. And I've been here 8 years, haven't had a lot of success yet, but that's the main thing that drives me. And we can keep the players at our club as well as keep adding talent to our club that makes us better on field. And I hope myself and everyone else at the club does the same thing.
Welcome back to Footy Classified. The newly signed Carlton co-captain in Patrick Cripps. He was pretty influential in the Blues win over the Crows yesterday, Kane Corns. But 6 years a long time.
It is a long time. You look at I'm opposed as it stands. I'm biased on long-term deals. I think they rarely, if ever, work for the club. But I just wonder how they're going to, fit everyone in and what the future of their cap looks like. Because there you can see the big money being paid to a lot of players, and Sam Walsh is still yet to sign. He will do that, you would think, but the decisions to get McGovern and Martin, who was heavily front-loaded. Curnow hasn't played a lot. Sarton Williams we've spoken about, and Harry Mackay on big money for the next couple of years. So how do you see the management of their cap, and is there any room? Is this the group they're all in with now?
Is there room for Chera, for example?
Yeah, I think they would make room. I'm not hugely against the Cripps extra years because he's taken a little bit of extra cash, so the extra money he gets is spread out, and they can move that later on. Clearly, the two that have really hurt them there are McGovern and Curnow. And you take risks anytime, Lloyd, you sign players on big money. I think the jury's still out on Sarton Williams. I think you have to give them at least a couple of years. They were both pretty good yesterday. But, yeah, McGovern just hasn't worked at all. He's barely played with injury. When he has played, he's been average. And Curnow, with his injuries, has hurt them, Caro. And their review started today,
all of which will be reviewed. Yep. It did start today. So Jeff Walsh and Graham Lowe, who I think lives in New Zealand, but in fact is in Melbourne this week to take part in this.
Which is lucky because the bubble, I think, just closed.
Yeah, he got here just in time. And, of course, he led the high-performance review at Carlton that led to Andrew Russell coming to the club, I think a few years ago. Now he's reviewing Andrew Russell, ironically, along with everyone else in the footy department. Matthew Pavlich obviously can't get here at the moment, but Carlton are hopeful he will get here by the end of the week, and he will be taking part face-to-face in the review situation, if not this week, then when he can, and maybe he'll have to do stuff by Zoom up until then. But it's just going to be intriguing to me where this is going to end up, how long it's going to take.
Where do you think it'll end up, Caro?
Well, I still think the coach is in enormous trouble, and I know it's awful to say that about people's jobs, but we've got to be brutal. It's true. We know that they're looking at a number of assistant coaches already, and I think the whole footy department is under the pump, Matthew, including Brad Lloyd and including the high-performance boss. Not saying they're not going to lose their jobs, but I think we'll see roles moved around. It's interesting,
Do you think Andrew Russell's job is in trouble?
I just wonder whether he will have as much power as he has now. I'm sure. I think he was probably...
You think he has too much power now?
I think there's a view that he has too much say. Yep, I do. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Sorry, just in what sense?
Well, he's a high-performance boss, but there are high-performance bosses and high-performance bosses. Not all of them have quite the control that Andrew Russell has been given at Carlton.
Well, I want to ask the question, do you think Hawthorn are reviewing things that they're doing at the moment?
Yep.
It probably are, but it's so public, this one at Carlton, and it's such a distraction for everyone. Do you think that they haven't gone about this the right way?
It is such a distraction. Like, if I was a player preparing for a game this week and I was set to be, you get a diary note, you're interviewed by Matthew Pavlich tomorrow, it takes you completely away from your focus, which should be on still pushing for finals for the Carlton players. So the distraction...
No, they're not pushing for finals.
Well, they should be. It's not until it's out of the equation with the draw that they've got. I just think
this is what happens when you get a new president who's impatient, who goes to a game, is horrified by what he sees.
Does that make it right? Just how public is this?
No. I think it's really tough on everyone. It is very public, and the Hawthorn situation is intriguing, but nowhere near as public.
We found out about this 2 weeks ago, and it's just starting today. So we've spoken about this review for 2 weeks. That's the distracting part, and it's only just started today.
Like the Gold Coast Suns, Sam, they must be reviewing their club that hard at the moment. Hawthorn would be reviewing that.
Completely different positions, though, in fairness. Yeah, I mean, this is a team that everyone at Carlton said was ready to go. That's different to the Gold Coast Suns at the moment.
St Kilda's the same. Exactly.
Yeah, and St Kilda have been enormously disappointing this year. What did you make of the Blues yesterday, Lloydie? Because they sort of just held off the Crows in the end, didn't they?
Yeah, I thought that... I still don't see any gears in what they did. So they got the win, but I just want to highlight some vision of Carlton versus Melbourne. So I loved what these two did, Liam Jones. But look at who's helping Jones. If he doesn't mark that, who's there with him? If he doesn't mark this ball, who's coming across to support them? So to me, I still thought it's so one-paced. Wiedering and Jones and Walsh were phenomenal. So again, he's taking on Tex Walker one-on-one versus this. Look at the numbers around them. So to me, they got the 4 points and they get a pressure valve release for a week, but it's still I just think it's individuals playing a certain way rather than a team system.
Yeah, I was there live. I watched them. I disagree a little bit. I saw some gears. I saw in the second quarter they kicked 8 in a row, 8 goals in the second quarter, 6 in a row. I thought there was some power out of stoppage. I loved Paddy Dow getting opportunities. So he started on ball in the centre bounce. He had more centre bounce attendances, and this is the best game I've seen him play. I thought his ball use was terrific. There you can see the 10% increase in midfield minutes. Stocker down back. I thought, oh, hang on. There's a 10-year player. I thought he was composed. I think he uses the ball well. It's not ideal. They have serious lapses defensively still, which you've highlighted, Lordy, and I don't disagree. But I walked away a little bit more positive yesterday, and granted it was against the Crows. Some games you just have to win. And at least I saw some young players with a bright future.
I think you can both be right, though, can't you?
Yeah.
I think Lloyd's point was that they won on talent maybe more than system. I'm not putting words in your mouth.
I'm just saying that the second quarter, though, you kick 8. So they're going to have momentum swings like that. But then how do you get 34 points up again and then suddenly it swings back the other way?
Yeah.
That's still... It's got to change at some point.
To get back to your comparison, not everything's rosy at Hawthorn and certainly not at St Kilda. But when things are so bad that things spill out into the media and into the public and to the members, that's when you know your club's got some real problems and the positions might be in real jeopardy. And we know they're looking at a number of assistants already. You reported that they were talking to, was it Chris Newman?
Chris Newman and
From
then Aaron
Hawthorn.
Hamill they interviewed last week.
Yep.
Of course, there's a romantic history at Carlton, having started his playing career there, but been at the Saints for 9 years now, and I think some chance to be at the Blues. More on the Blues in future weeks, I'm sure of that.